Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Michael, and I do a lot of things, but for the purposes of this video, I'm an animator. So I felt like showing you how I draw my characters, because I've created many a character within the past 6 years or so, and so today I'll be showing you how to draw three of them: Orchid, Topaz, and Lavender, who are the three mains of a short film that I made called Disabled World, which you should go watch. And now I'd like to show you how to draw them. We'll start with Orchid because I think he's the easiest. So for Orchid, or in the case of any of my human characters, we always start with a big circle for the head. And Orchid's pretty easy. In fact, this circle will contain circles within it. But as for the head, his hair is pretty cartoony. It kind of defies logic. You just do a bit of curves here and here. It almost looks like dog ears when they're down, but it's it's a pretty cartoonish kind of haircut. It's like a gravity defying bob almost. I'm not sure what this is called, but if I were to dub this hairstyle, I'd call it a globe. Um, and his eyes, he doesn't have any eyes, so he just has glasses. Very opaque, very white glasses, which are both circles. And these are the circles that are contained by the big circle, which is his head. So those will be his glasses. And we got to have some frames for his glasses because I wear glasses too and they have frames. So I wanted to be realistic about that. And his nose is going to be a small letter C like this. And his mouth is just going to be a kind of diagonal line like that. That's Orchid right there. That's his face. And now for his body, this is kind of how I would draw any regular wide body, is if you use some curves like this where they taper down into sort of a straight line, and you do the same mirroring it on the other side. They're kind of symmetrical actually. And I'll also give him a collar, which is just a little half circle like this under his neck. See where it forms the neck? Then what you want to do is, Orchid wears a sweater, so we're going to give him long sleeves. And we'll do the same on the other arm. These are just two straight lines, one small one, another long one. And let's also do his hands. Hands are deceptively simple. They look hard, they're really not. You just got to practice them. So, and literally it's easy to freehand a hand. So you got to look at your own hands and see that, okay, so this is Orchid's left arm, your left arm, and if you look at it from the other way, where does the thumb go? It goes this way. So that's where Orchid's thumb will go, is this way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, just very, very narrow, like that. And we'll do the same mirrored for the other side. For the other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. Now we're going to get his torso, which will come down, I think, about here. And since he's wearing a kind of big sweater, it'll kind of... And so, again, more straight lines. And I think right here will be kind of a fold or where the fabric creases a bit, and that's a sort of curved line right there. And then his pants, straight line, curved line, straight line, and there he is, Orchid Cherry right there. And he's really easy to draw. And next, let's do Topaz. Topaz is also pretty simple. So again, we start with a circle. Always start with a big circle for the face. Topaz's hair, I call it the Boris Johnson. Um, we get some spikes, basically, but not like Sonic the Hedgehog, more like Boris Johnson. So, and you know the rule of threes? Well, when I design characters, there's a rule of fours. So let's do 4 spikes outward, kind of like Zoe from Sesame Street, actually, now that I think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's just because she's orange. And we'll do the same on the other half of her face, other side. 1, 2, 3, 4 spikes. We'll bring them in part of the way, just like that. And we're going to give her 4 little hair prongs, almost like bangs, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know, it's more symmetrical like that when I do it actually. But you know, this is more of a demonstration. But you know, anyways. So Orchid wears circle glasses, but Topaz kind of wears rectangular glasses with round edges. So just draw rectangles with round edges inside this circle here. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention was proportions. Topaz's whole hairline, and I think Orchid's too, takes up like a third of her face. Because if you think about human heads, you know, like the hair isn't just at the top of your head, it actually kind of goes down too. So, you know, a bit of your forehead may be concealed by bangs, for instance. So let's look at Topaz and think, let's see, I think they should be here. So that's one lens, and here's the other. And again, with the frames, one wire, the other. And there's the nose kind of bridge. And Topaz has dots for eyes. And again, we give her a letter C for the nose and a bit of a diagonal line for the mouth. It's going to be the same as with Orchid for her body. It's going to be, you know, a curved and then going into a straight line. So like this, from her chin, curve, straight down. Shit, I fucked that up. Anyways, and then another curve, straight down. It's fine, you know. We're just demonstrating, you know, it takes a bit of practice, and I've had a long day. All right, let's do a collar for her t-shirt, because I wanted to give Orchid, Topaz, and Lavender different kinds of clothes. And so Orchid's got the sweater, Lavender has a tank top, and Topaz has a shirt. So a t-shirt. Technically, they're all shirts, but a t-shirt. And now let's give her 2 arms. So, you know, one line and the other. See, we can actually, I have an idea. We can actually turn our mistake into the drawing. You know, Bob Ross, happy accidents kind of thing. But first we got to focus on the shirt sleeves. Shorter, much shorter than long sleeves. They come up to the forearm like that, and the same with the other. So I think it'd be interesting if Topaz was shrugging. So like, huh? What? In fact, I'll just give her a question mark so that we know that she's confused. So in order for that pose, let's turn the palms out so that the thumbs are out instead of in, like with Orchid, like we did with Orchid. So let's do them the other way, and also show you how I draw palms as well. We can do that as a bit of a demonstration. So right here, and we'll splay her hand a bit, you know, because that's, you know, that's kind of the shruggy thing that people do, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, and with palms, it's simple. 2 curved lines, small curved lines, like that. See how we made our mistake? See, I fucked up, but now her elbows are slightly bent. There you go. All right, now let's do her torso and her pants. So for her torso, I'm thinking, let's split it here. And I think, she's kind of got her t-shirt going there. And for her, this is very detailed, very delicate now that I think about it, which I hadn't considered before, considering this is second nature to me as an animator who animated Disabled World pretty much all by myself. But as I demonstrate it to you, the viewer, I'm thinking, this is much more involved of a process than I thought. So Topaz's pants, again, we're going to do one straight line, another straight line, no bulge, and we're just going to, have a bit of a curve there going down straight and straight the other way. And, oh, I forgot, because the fabric's kind of creasing in there. So there's Topaz in the flesh right there. And finally, Lavender, because I always think of them in that order, because that's the way I created them, Orchid, Topaz, and Lavender, and it rolls out the tongue that way. Anyways, you know the drill. A big circle for Lavender's head. This one, I think you have a bit more leeway to fuck up the head shape a bit and get the circle perfect, because Lavender has black hair, and that you can easily illustrate with black and white illustrations. So let's do that. Let's get her hair. And for Lavender's hair, she has, long hair that goes out in spikes and spiky bangs like that. So let's do that. And again, we follow the rule of fours. So here's two straight lines. Just smooth it out. Two straight lines going down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 prongs, spikes. Do the same for the other side. Two straight lines. It's okay to smooth it out a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't really matter how many spikes for her bangs she has. I don't keep track. But, it's kind of like saw teeth almost. A sawtooth wave. Alright, now we can color this in with black. If I was coloring this, it's just as simple as coloring in the lines, but you actually want to color in the lines because this is animation we're talking about, It's a very involved process where you just want to relax, concentrate on what you're doing. Alright, there is her head. Just get it a bit more filled in. It doesn't have to be complete. Charles Schulz used to have sort of partly filled in black heads. Anyways, her eyes are a bit longer than Topaz's because they're not dots. They're kind of like ellipses, almost like this. This is how I draw a non-bespectacled character's glasses. And Lavender has eyelashes. So 1, 2, 3. That, at least that I do in threes, eyelashes. Because I think SpongeBob's eyelashes came in 3. 1, 2, 3. And unlike Topaz and Orchid, Lavender's nose is going to be a backwards J, kind of pointed a bit, kind of slanted a bit. So, because it's a nose pointing, so like that. And that, I think, is a, it's much more of a subtle difference once it's small, but I guess I can demonstrate a bit bigger here. That's the C nose and this is the J nose. So yeah. And again, diagonal line for the bit of a frowning, actually, now that I think about it, frowning face, because Lavender has to deal with Orchid and Topaz arguing all the time. Okay. Curved line coming out from the neck, and then straight down. Same thing on the other side, curved neck coming out from the neck, curved line coming out from the neck, and straight down. Before we do anything else, let's fill in the back of Lavender's hair, because her hair is not short like Orchid and Topaz hair are. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 prongs in the back, and we'll just fill them in. Same on the other side. With Lavender, I'm not one to really do her collar first because I judge the width of her collar based on her arm width and the width of the tank top straps and that. So I'm going to draw her breast first. And we're going to do, I think we'll have it there. And just a bit of a bump. And then it goes down. And since it's kind of, she's facing the west, we'll have no bump on the other side. Although if she was front facing, there would be 2 bumps. Symmetrical. And that's a straight line. And it's going to be a curved line for the strap here. Leave a bit of room for her armpit. And then I'm thinking just curve the line like that, and then get that in there for the breasts. And that is her body. And so since we didn't fuck up her arms, we can just have the thumbs pointed in again. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. Thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where the tank top ends and where her pants begin. 2 straight lines. And there you have it. That's Lavender. So Orchid, Topaz, and Lavender are rather easy to draw, and with this video, hopefully you can draw them too. And I hope you found that interesting. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys. Bye now.